Hi, back again with another episode of Unfortunate Report. This episode's coming in a little late. You guys have had a week or so to get into the new format and see how the new pack shakes things up, but we will still cover the last month and see how things went, hand trap ratios, the breakdown generally of ladder, and of course, the most popular mates, the best and most important part of this video is always which mates are on top this month. And from next month onwards, I will be recording the stats for those month by month, as well as overall, so we can see some more dynamic changes and see if there's some, shifts in popularity. And from the stats I've gathered so far, there are some interesting ones, actually. So look forward to that. Or if you become a channel member by clicking the link in description, you can actually see a lot of these stats early, and some of the more expanded stats for various deck breakdowns and stuff. You'll have to forgive if I stumble over my words a bit. It is very, very hot in this room today. It is well into British summer. Very, very cool. Very little air conditioning and all that, so you'll just have to bear with me. So we need to start by addressing the new feature Mastel put in recently, actually, which is the stat breakdown, where we can see how much certain cards are played and, how their sort of average win rate is. The average win rate stat is kind of useless. It's very misleading. For example, let's say you have a tier 0 format, and tier is, 99% of the format, right? And you have 1% that is like flu. Even though, obviously, looking at that breakdown, the best deck is unequivocally Tearlament. If the flu players just are above average in skill, the average win rate of flu will be higher, because 99% of matches will be tier versus tier, so the overall win rate of Tearlament would be around 50%. Hopefully, that sort of helps examine why these kind of numbers are useless, and no, Exorcister is not the best deck in Master Duel. Absolutely, it is not. And of course, there are some stat breakdowns of usability. Now, I'm still going to be recording stats of late chance you're going to be seeing these hand traps, because it's not quite the same thing statistically. But yeah, we can indeed look at the fact that Maxi appears in 90% of decks. I would like any other card game players to tell me how they feel looking at this game and going, just every single deck has to play this card. I know that some MTG formats have Force of Will, a format-defining card, but that card is restricted to one of the 5 colors. You cannot just play that in every deck in the game. And that isn't their standard format. This is a current standard format. This is the main competitive format. It is insane. Let's look at the meta breakdown. So, here we have our wheel for this format. It's very similar to last month in terms of tier breakdown. Of course, we had Goatee come out this month, so that's shown up a fair bit with all the banishing and stuff. But I don't think it's actually that good. It's just pretty popular. Exorcister and Flu still very popular, and then after that it's sort of the typicals, Math Mech and Runic Stun and regular stuns. Stun variants were really picked up this month. A lot of people really just sick of playing against tier, just piling to stun. I will say, looking into the next month format, I haven't really played against much stun. Still there a bit, but I think it seems to have died off in favor of other decks like the Bestial variants. And then you got your usual things, Sprite, Math Mech, Hero, Sword Soul, the sort of things you'd expect to see being fairly popular. Flu and EXO obviously going to be very, very popular in a tier format, and there's nothing really that competitive for them yet, at least until the Bestial's release. But yeah, tier has very much been dominating for a solid 2 months. So yeah, if you want to see the full stats and the full breakdown of all the different decks I encountered this format, then you can become a channel member below, and I post all of the stats alongside the upload of the video, over for members only, so feel free to do that. Staple breakdown. So, we have switched over to doing a month by month for the staple breakdown. I think this makes the most sense. And the numbers are looking roughly similar to usual. However, Maxi has overtaken Ash Blossom now. Very, very, very strongly in the lead. And I think it's only going to get more so as long as Tier is around, because Ash just doesn't do enough against these high-powered decks. I think Ash is definitely even worse when Kashtira and like Labyrinth come out, because just the one interrupt isn't enough to stop those decks. People are going to be going a lot more to board breakers, and you can start to see those coming up. Imperm is obviously popular, Callby obviously, Dimension Shift obviously very popular, but you can start to see some of these numbers creeping up, like Triple Tactics is starting to gain popularity, because basically every good deck right now does a lot on your turn, so you just get a free take a monster, hand rip, or draw 2, and everything else staying fairly low. Not really surprised, but yeah, I can tell you, once again, looking into the next format, a lot of these numbers are going to change quite an interesting bit. Well, here's the moment you've been waiting for. The mates. What are the most popular mates in Macedol? So, the numbers have changed a lot. There's been some new mates, but there's also been a lot of these... There's been some new mates added to the game, not a huge amount, but there's still a couple, and a couple very popular ones. But a lot of these changes are just things switching in and out of popularity, which is cool to see. It's cool to see that there is this big variance of what people like, even if there are the rough sort of top 10 that stay usually the same. Even those mostly are changing. So let's go from the bottom. We have... starting with 25 results at 2%, Sangan is still here in the top 20. And then matching him, we have Blue Eyes White Dragon has made his way onto the wheel. He was stuck in the other category last month, but he has grown a bit, it seems. Surging in from 0 to 26 results in 1 month. With 2.2%, we have Sprite Blue is here, and I think he's only going to go up more and more on the wheel. He seems to be definitely one of the fan favorites to be appearing, no doubt due to his meta popularity. Alamateer Stratos is still here, a nice little rep for heroes. Hero players really like Stratos, and even non-hero players really like Stratos. Gigiano still here, but he's lost a lot of positions. He is dropping off, and he may soon leave the wheel. Gaia, I think, is of course he has the DM legacy, and he also has the fact that he changes forms, which will probably help a lot. And one that I know many people will be very happy about, surging up from the other category, is Moki. He has done so well for himself, and we're very proud. Ghost Trigger Lantern, still doing a whole good position. White Baking, originally a very high spot, and he is falling off, and I'm sorry, but it's projected to go even lower. Pot of Greed, still very high, but dropping off. The Car, roughly in the same position it was before, but given that it hasn't really gone up at all, it's mostly just sitting at roughly the same number it was last month. I have a feeling it's going to be gone from the wheel almost entirely next month, and probably losing from the overall wheel as well. Then we got Ash. Ash has gone up a lot. I'm surprised by this, given that she was in the game at launch. You would think she would have always been popular, but no, seems to be rising. Maybe people are just getting upset about Maxi. Karibo still in a very good position. Rescue Rabbit still in a great position. Default mate moment. And then our top 3. Are they still the same? Growing in popularity. 148 results, 12.4% up, a whole 2% from last month, is Laundry Dragon Maid. She is going to just consume this entire wheel by the end of the year. We will have a tier 0 Dragon Maid mate format. I can sense it, and you should all be worried about it. So, what's the game looking at for next format? So, obviously the Bestials are out, there's a lot of Bestial decks enabled, Bestial Sprite. You should probably expect to see the Malfi package show up a lot. Get them a bunch of interaction. And then, of course, Branded is getting a lot of support, so you should expect to see a lot of Branded, especially with the Bestials, even though they are hit. Branded generally doesn't care which Bestials it summons, it just cares that it has some names, so it's probably the most to get an advantage of Saradar and Baldrake. Dragon Link, expect to see a fair amount of. But you know, Tier is obviously still the best deck for now. At least for looking at the raw stats, like it's going to be difficult to overturn it. They did take a small hit in terms of losing a couple of Shizu copies, but I don't think that's going to be enough, and I think the addition of the Bestials and Sprint is enough to make up for that by far. They can easily get into a lot of stuff still, so be worried about that. But it's fine. I'm sure the next ban list will really do a lot to... Konami really likes the number 2, don't they? Well, ignoring that, we can quickly go over what I have been playing and what you should be playing. There's been a couple events going on this week. There's only a few days left on one of them, but there's still a week left on the Synchro Festival. So I'm going to give you just the deck list I've been playing, and just maybe you can give a go at those in the next few days before the events end. And I'll give you my deck I'm currently going up Master Rank with. So here is my Legend Anthology list, pure Fur Hire. It makes a Folgo board plus a couple interruptions. pretty consistently, and that's pretty much it. And then you've got the blowout cards, like Super Poly's probably the best blowout in this entire format, because everything else is banned. And every deck pretty much plays into these. You got stuff in here for the loner decks, and also just general good stuff. This has been really, really good for me, pretty good win rate. There's still blowouts like Regeki and Doggle are pretty hard to play through because you don't really have the counters to them. But yeah, this is very fun, very, very cool, very chill, chill mid-range show deck to just do a basic turn 1 combo, end on a full go plus some pops, get a good draw 3 into some interruption and follow up your opponent's turn. Very cool deck, give it a go. And then for the Synchro Festival, playing Sword Soul. They limited Moe, but it doesn't really do enough. You have access to pretty much everything else. I've just slotted in a Chunjun to make up for the number and an additional Taie. We've cut down a lot on the Tenyis because we don't have access to the links, but you still play a few because they're not actually too hard to trigger. Playing 3 Heavenly Dragon Circle to make sure we can play through interruptions. And making up for the loss of a couple of names with the Sacred Summit to bring stuff back from the graveyard. Other than that, it's pretty standard Sword Soul, gameplay. Not playing Danglong because I don't own it, so we're just playing Crystal Amatrix as a level 5 to go into sometimes. Sometimes you're just gonna have to go like Adhara plus Taie or Moe that's been impermed to make 5, and then you get something engraved that you can revive with Summit, and then you get to synchro off and do all those plays, which you wouldn't be able to do without 5, so it's just important to have one. And that's about it. And then branded. So I already did a deck profile on this, which you can find on the channel, but I did some changes. We're playing Banishment now. I cut down on some of the raw numbers like Cartesia because we just need to make it a bit more consistent. And I'm very happy with this list. I don't think I'll be changing it again until like the format changes. I mean, we know at least it's going to be -1 brand diffusion, which sucks, and I'll probably bring back in a Cartesia to accommodate for that. Definitely when we get the next wave of branded support, whenever we get that in a few months, definitely playing 2 Quem to make up for the 2 Alibert and 2 brand diffusion really, really hurts that. But we'll just see how that goes. That's a long way off, so we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, there's my 3 lists for the format. Go and give them a go. Thanks for watching, and yeah, become a member if you want to see more of these stats. And I'll see you next month for hopefully a more diverse graph.